The moment our small charter plane plunged into the Pacific Ocean, I knew my life would never be the same. I was supposed to be presenting quarterly reports in our Seattle office the next morning. Instead, I was clinging to a piece of wreckage beside my boss, Victoria Sinclair, watching our only connection to civilization sink beneath the waves. The water was cold, the sky was darkening, and somewhere in the distance, through the fog and rain, I could see the outline of land. We had no choice but to swim toward it, our business attire weighing us down like anchors, our briefcases long abandoned to the depths below. My name is Marcus Bennett, and I had worked as a junior marketing analyst for Sinclair Industries for 3 years. Victoria was everything I admired in a leader. Brilliant, driven, compassionate beneath her professional exterior. She was 38, recently divorced, and had built her late father's struggling company into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. I was 29, ambitious, and honestly a little intimidated by her. We barely knew each other beyond boardroom presentations and the occasional elevator small talk. Yet here we were, crawling onto a deserted beach somewhere off the coast of Northern California, gasping for air, grateful to be alive. If you believe in the power of second chances, in finding hope in the darkest moments, and in love that blooms in the most unexpected places, please hit that like button, leave a comment below, share this video with someone who needs to hear this story, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything. The island was small, maybe 2 miles across, covered in dense forest with a freshwater stream running through its center. We later learned it was one of hundreds of uninhabited islands scattered along the Pacific coast, too remote and rocky for development, forgotten by modern civilization. Our pilot hadn't filed a proper flight plan due to the last-minute nature of our trip. The storm had blown us off course. Nobody knew exactly where we were, and as the days turned into weeks, we began to accept a terrifying truth. Rescue might never come. Those first weeks were brutal. Victoria, despite her corporate polish, proved surprisingly resilient. She helped me build shelter using palm fronds and driftwood. We learned to catch fish with makeshift spears, to identify edible plants, to start fires using friction. We worked side by side, and slowly, the walls between boss and employee crumbled away. She told me about her failed marriage, about the loneliness that came with success, about the daughter she had lost to a miscarriage years ago and how it had broken something inside her. I shared my own struggles, growing up in foster care in Portland, never feeling like I belonged anywhere, using work to fill the emptiness in my life. On our 47th night on the island, huddled together in our shelter as a storm raged outside, something shifted between us. It wasn't planned or calculated. It was human need, connection, comfort in the face of uncertainty. We held each other that night, and it felt like the most natural thing in the world. In the weeks that followed, what began as survival companionship blossomed into something deeper. We fell in love not despite our circumstances, but perhaps because of them. Stripped of titles, wealth, and social expectations, we discovered who we really were beneath all the pretense. 3 months into our ordeal, Victoria came to me with tears in her eyes and placed my hand on her stomach. She didn't need to say the words. I knew. We were going to have a baby. The news should have terrified us, stranded as we were without medical care or proper nutrition. Instead, it gave us purpose. Victoria became fiercely determined to survive, not just for herself, but for the life growing inside her. I worked harder than I ever had, improving our shelter, stockpiling food, preparing for the arrival of our child. On a clear morning in early spring, after 8 months on the island, a fishing boat finally spotted our signal fire. The rescue was chaotic and overwhelming. We were taken to a hospital in San Francisco, treated for malnutrition and exposure, questioned by authorities. The media caught wind of the story. CEO and employee survive months on deserted island. The headlines were sensational, intrusive, relentless. Victoria's company had survived in her absence, managed by her capable executive team, But there were questions, concerns, shareholders demanding answers. Through it all, Victoria held my hand. She told her board of directors that she was pregnant, that we were together, that anyone who had a problem with it could tender their resignation. She was still the same fierce woman I had come to love. But now she fought for us, for our future, for our family. We moved into her home in Sausalito, overlooking the bay, and began building a life that made sense in this world we had returned to. Our daughter, Hope, was born on a sunny afternoon in June. She had Victoria's eyes and my stubborn chin. Holding her for the first time, I finally understood what it meant to belong somewhere. I wasn't just a former foster kid who had lucked into a good job. I was a father. I was part of a family. Victoria and I got married in a small ceremony on the beach, just us, Hope, and a few close friends. We didn't need anything elaborate. We had already survived the ultimate test together. Hope is 3 years old now. She loves the water, despite our traumatic history with it. She plays on the beach, collecting shells, completely unaware of the extraordinary circumstances that brought her into this world. Last night, Victoria and I were sitting on our deck, watching Hope chase seagulls in the fading light. Victoria turned to me with that same look she had given me on the island when she first told me she was pregnant. This time, she smiled and said, "Let's have another one." Hope needs a sibling, and I want to fill this house with the family we both never had growing up. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even in our darkest moments we can find light, please take a moment to like this video. Leave a comment telling us what this story meant to you and share it with someone who needs hope today. Before we end, please comment below. What would you do if you were stranded with someone you barely knew? Would you find love or just survival? I really want to hear your thoughts. I looked at Victoria, at the woman who had been my boss, my survival partner, my love, and now the mother of my child. I thought about the scared, lonely kid I'd been, the ambitious young man trying to prove himself, and the father and husband I had become. Sometimes life doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes the plane crashes, literally and figuratively. But sometimes, in the wreckage and chaos, you find exactly what you were always meant to find. I pulled Victoria close, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Yes. Let's have another one. Let's have the family we both always dreamed of."